Welcome back, everyone. Alright, so a few weeks back now, I bought the Nikke Perfect Shot photo collection. Now, I have already opened them because, I bought the box and it comes with all of them. So, just quickly. Sakura, Rosana, and Vipers, along with scenes from the game. So Sakura and Rosana, Maiden and Guilty, Rappy and Neon, Guilty and Maiden, Jackal and a Dolphin, Rosana and Sakura, Jackal and Viper, Viper getting pushed very quickly on the swing there, another Jackal and Viper, and Anise and Mary. Anyway, I got them all, and then I was wondering how best to display them, because honestly, folders and binders are alright, but not overly interesting. Well, they are, just not that impressive. So, I figured I would put them in a frame. So it's a 40cm by 50cm. I'll have to take a shot later, but it's a decent size. And I thought, well, just putting it in a frame is somewhat boring, so I'll get a background name. So, scene from the game, obviously, from the beach scene. Which, again, good step up, but not where I wanted to finish. So, I also bought Middle-ear. It's an audio chip board with a button. I think we can all see where this is going. I'll be honest, the speaker is tiny and atrocious and going to sound very teeny, but it should be alright. So, I'm going to get started essentially modifying this frame to handle legitimately probably just the button. Most of this is just probably going to be double-sided tape to the back of it. But yeah, so that's the plan. Let's get cracking. Alright, so frames out. I have just marked the center of the front. Now, the bottom that I got, I think it's about 10mm, and there's this little step here. So, I will do the countersink first, because they're the bits that I have. I only need to go slightly. So, hopefully I can. That should be deep enough, and it still has the hole marked in the center for the next drilling hole for the rest of the button. Using an empty box to space it up so I don't drill through the table. I drill through the box, not too fast. And I'll do a small hole first, not that it's massively required, but should make it a little bit easier. And I'm not trying to drill a large hole all at once, and if it goes off, it's going to go make a mess. Sort of like that. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Because the frame is thinner on one side, the drill bit sort of just veered off in the angle that it veered off in. So I'm going to awkwardly now try and drill this in the right direction. Hopefully without damaging everything. I'm going to clean up and hopefully I didn't absolutely balls up the frame. Hang on a sec. Alrighty, now, I don't know if I'll be able to get this out again, although judging for the giant hole, probably will, but anyway. That's why I did buy these clips, so I'm going to just attach the wire here, and then that way I don't need to worry about getting this out. Sorry about that. My countersink was a fraction too small. Alrighty. Right, so the hole was too far that way still, so. Ah, look at that. Whoop. If I show it off. Perfect. Now, I have realised that it's going to be hard to get the wires in where it is currently. So what I might do is I might just put a mark in there, and then take a little chunk out. Although, just to check, yes, no, otherwise it's going to be sticking out the back. And there's enough room between the frame currently and the back that I can put the speakers and everything in there. So I will notch out that probably about there-ish. I've got no idea how yet. Maybe I'll drill some tiny holes and go from there. Alrighty, the marker is gone. It's a fairly light wood, so I'm hoping an X-Acto knife is able to not rip right through it, but hopefully I'm able to make enough of a cut each time that I can eventually start pushing through. Now, there's going to be much faster ways. Multi-tools. Depending on how long this takes, I might grab it. I'm hoping it just doesn't require too much, so that should be easy. Alright, I'm going to cut this and I will return once I've hopefully removed these two chunks of wood. Back in a sec. Give me back my blade. The stab and wiggle method seems to be working a lot better. I'm just going and grab something that's not an X-Acto knife to try and separate it. Pocket knife attachment should do the job. Chisel would have probably been better. What can you do? Now that we've severely weakened the frame, let's put the blades away and get the hot things out. Alright, got the soldering iron. Now, I'm sure some of you have realised that this table is noticeably made of plastic, which doesn't exactly work well with heat. So, I haven't turned it on yet, and that's why I'm going to lift it from here. So I will put this underneath, which, again, is made of plastic, but slightly... Is it slightly cheaper to replace than... Maybe the table's cheaper to replace. Anyway, I'll also be using this to hopefully keep all the hot stuff actually off the table entirely. Yeah. I guess we will cut everything. So, this is the button that came with it. Nothing wrong with it, but I do want the plug. So I will just cut that off so I can get the plug. Now, I'm just using plain scissors. I'm aware I should be using probably something better. However, very thin wire, and I don't necessarily have the right tools. So, which is also why I might be using the X-Acto knife to trim the edge of the wires off. So, I'm going to cut that on the off chance something goes wrong. But I'll be back in a sec with, though the wires exposed on the end there due to an X-Acto knife. Alrighty, that actually went surprisingly well. Wires are very thin there. So I'm gonna tin them to make hopefully it a bit easier to connect them to these plugs. Now, that's how they look usually. I am going to bend them on a 90-degree angle. Now, I don't have the crimper, so I will just be folding them. Anyway, this has been warming up for a little bit. Hopefully, there we go. Hopefully it tins alright. I really should get a proper soldering iron. This sort of style. Bit cheap and hard to use. I don't know if I've tinned them or if I just burnt them. Anyway, I'll get everything set up. Alright, bit of a change of angle. Hopefully it's a bit easier to see. I've got water in the sponge now. That tip's looking a lot nicer. Alright, and hopefully I can get these wires lined up properly. Looks like I can. Now, probably should have cut them at different lengths, but They're very thin and flexible, so I'm not too concerned. Don't think that's going to damage the jaws. Sorry, don't think the jaws are going to damage the wire, hopefully. Hopefully it's alright. I'm probably just going to end up flooding the bracket with solder. Easy as that, I guess. Now, thankfully, it's going to be fairly low voltage. It is just acting as a plug. So, excellent. Hopefully I can do the same on the one I've already bent. Now, I will point out that the camera is slightly above, so the camera's actually probably seeing it a lot easier than what I am. Which is fun. So, nicely done. I will go and bend this one now. However, I will come back with putting the... This camera is not wanting to focus for me today. That plugs in there. That'll plug into the power. And this entire thing will go just to some double-sided tape strapped to the board. Or to the back of the board. Alright, so most of the annoying and hard stuff is over. Now, I did get this laminated when I made it, because I was going to just be lazy and put these in. They are in plastic card sleeves. Okay. The back's starting to look like a Polaroid, so. But yeah, so I can just put them down and make it, and put some double-sided tape on. So, what my plan is something like that for the three of them in the center, and then everything else sort of scattered around the side. Now, I did have the thought as well of trying somewhat of my best to put like pictures together. I don't know whether or not that's going to be easy or hard, especially considering there's going to need to be some in the air in the middle of nowhere. We've got 4 on that side, and I guess we'll go Maiden and Guilty at the bottom there. Now, theoretically, I would probably need to make sure that the cards... Swap those two over, there we go. Jacqueline Viper in the sky there. The other reason I wanted the background is due to the fact that it's really hard to fill the gaps otherwise. Anyway, that's roughly the layout. Pretty much the 3 in the middle are the only 3 that are going to be sort of somewhat important to make sure that they're square. So, and I will be back to put all the others into place. Alrighty, that took way too long. Thankfully none of the others are as critical if I'm on weird angles, seeing as that was what I'm aiming for. But yeah, so, pictures, inside card sleeves, bit of double-sided tape, stick it on the back, peel it off, while leaving the tape behind. One of these corners better be holding down properly. No, apparently none of them are. There we go. And then on. Alrighty. Let's just go around and get them all done. There we are. Now the double-sided tape's probably not going to do much once the band of glass is also holding it in. It's really just to keep them in place and stop them from moving around. Alrighty. Well, let's chuck it all together. Alright, thankfully the button just has enough clearance room. Glass is in, so next will be the backdrop. This is going to be very boring for everyone while I load things in backwards. Yeah, backdrop's in. Hopefully the board fits in. Lovely. All lined up. Let's get these tabs folded down. Oh, not only does it remove wood, it also folds metal tabs. And fold the rest of them down to lock it in place. Alright, so I got them all both folded. Speaker. I'll go and put double-sided tape on now. This double-sided tape's slightly more structural. Alright, to line it up, I will plug these in first. It does not matter which order they go into. They are literally just there as wires. Now, if I was to do this a bit more impressively, it's also really low voltage, so the metal and wood aren't going to be problems. If I was to do this a bit more impressively, I'd probably try and mount this somewhere in the side. However, it's for a bit of fun, so here we are mounting it directly to the back. And that also being said, yeah, about there. There's also space for the battery, but no, they're just plugged in, so it doesn't matter too much. I mean, the speakers aren't exactly going to blow anyone's socks off. About there. Knowing how this usually goes, that'll have fallen off by the end of the video. Alrighty. I will reposition this slightly to get it in a better shot. And we will try it out. Alrighty. I really don't have a lot of space for these, so we'll see how it sounds. Probably very tingy, but here goes. Well, that was a fun little project. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.